Hey guys, it's Lissa, and since today is the 11th anniversary of the towers being hit, I figured I would share my story of what happened that day, in case anyone's interested in the feelings and emotions of a 13-year-old girl. Well, I'm not 13 now, but I was 13 at the time. I remember for some reason, was in or going through the cafeteria talking to my girlfriends about, why everybody was going home, like, in massive droves. They were basically doing, like, normally they would call into the classroom and say, would Aaron Smith come to the front office for early dismissal? But they were getting so many calls at one time, they would actually go over the entire intercom system and say, would Aaron Smith and, Ray Lewis and whoever come to the front office for early dismissal. And that never happened. They would never publicly announce who was leaving, but it was a lot easier than looking up each student in each classroom to figure out to do a private call. And the only thing we could come up with was that maybe there was some kind of, epidemic going on, like some kind of flu or something, and parents were freaking out and coming to get their kids, and we thought it was dumb. None of us had cell phones, because we were all still in middle school, and, we were all like, yeah, you can have one when you get to high school. Well, that changed pretty damn quick. I got a cell phone, I think, in the next 2 or 3 weeks. But there was one kid who happened to have one, and their mom had called them, and they were telling us, they told us that the trade tower had been hit. The World Trade Tower had been, well, at the time we thought it was bombed. They said the World Trade Tower had been bombed. And I started freaking out because my godmother at the time worked at the tower in Baltimore, and I wasn't even thinking New York because, of course, the Baltimore Tower was connected to me. So I ran over to my lit teacher, and I asked her, I said, I heard the trade tower had been bombed. Was it Baltimore, was it New York, or was it another tower? And she said that, she's like, I can't answer that question. I said, well, no, you don't understand. My godmother works in Baltimore. I just need to know if she's okay or not. And she said, I can't answer that question. So in my mind, that was, yeah, the Baltimore Tower had been bombed. So I was freaking out because I thought, if it had been someplace else, she could have said, no, Baltimore is fine, your godmother's okay. Not realizing that if she had said anything, she would have lost her job. Which is stupid, and even then I thought it was stupid, and now I think it's stupid, If a kid comes up and says, my godmother worked in so-and-so tower, is this tower okay? And they say yes, that's putting a child's mind at ease. I mean, they might freak out at the fact that, something else will be happening, but anyway, my mom had come and got us, me and my sister and my brother, and as soon as I saw her, she told me that Cindy was okay. My Aunt Cindy was okay, and I was really, at that point, once I knew she was okay, it pretty much became a sort of non-issue for me. I wasn't freaking out, or it was still like, oh my god, somebody, bombed a building, but it was no longer really personal. And so we went home, and we didn't have cable, so we went over to my neighbor's house, and we were watching the news. It was the 5 of us and her kids. And I remember seeing footage of the second building very clearly being hit by a plane. I don't remember if it was like the first time it had run or if it was like a repeat of footage or what, but I remember sitting there, and at that point we knew the first one had been a plane, and I thought, okay, well, you know, for lack of a better term, shit happens. You know, the plane could have lost control, it could have been almost anything, and so the first plane could have been a fluke. A terrible, horrible fluke, but a fluke. And then we saw the second plane, and I knew that had been planned, and I remember not knowing who could do something like that. I mean, I knew about, like, you know, you're in school and you read about wars and, like, terrible things that are going on, but I mean, you know, the millennium had passed. Pretty much everyone of my age thought, you know, all that stupid stuff was over. We figured people were smarter than that, you know. People were smart enough to know that you don't commit genocide because you don't like a particular set of people. And unfortunately, that's not the case. So, sorry, well, yeah, and I remember, we had, right before school starts, we always went to New Hampshire for a week or two. And when we were coming back down through New York, my dad pointed out the towers to us. I think we were taking a different route home than we had usually taken. Sorry. And, because I don't remember seeing them in past years. And he pointed them out to us, and it wasn't like they were really close. They were like really far in the background, but they were pretty obvious. You can tell it was the two. You could tell it was the two towers from their silhouette. And I remember thinking, well, it's gonna be at least another year before I see those, if you know, ever, because I never go to New York, and we didn't usually take that route. So I was like, that's pretty cool. Not realizing that that was the last time I'd ever be able to see them in person. And it was just really freaky. And I remember the summer after it happened, we went on vacation, and we stopped at that field in Pennsylvania. I'm pretty sure it's Pennsylvania, and if it's not, please don't rip me a new one. My memory is not exactly sharp right now. A little emotional. And I'm pretty sure it was the field in Pennsylvania where the other plane went down. And it was the four of us. It was my dad and my brother and my sister. And my mom usually took the vacation. Like, when we went on vacation, she would stay home and have her own vacation. Not that she didn't enjoy going with us, but she liked having the time to herself. As a mother with a almost 4-year-old, I totally get it. I'd love to send her on vacation by herself for a week. Great. But, my sister didn't want to get out of the car. So it was real quick. I remember going into, I guess it was like a shed or something. And there was a lot of people there still, and it was a much different kind of emotion, you know, over the people that died there than the people that died at the towers. Because the towers, I mean, I didn't know what happened until it happened, but people that were in the plane that crashed in the field kind of made like a conscious decision amongst themselves to give up their lives to save people they didn't even know. And it was just really crazy, you know. I don't know. Anyway, my timer's counting down, so, you know, share your story if you want to. You don't have to.